Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I am going to be starting with English today, and just really make sure you're paying attention to the instructions because that's the most important part. The actual reading side of this is pretty low, pretty light. You've done it already, all right? And really, all you're doing is focusing on two timelines, all right? So the first timeline is going to be on pages 8 and 9, all right? And even though you guys have looked at it already, all right, but even though there's not an actual line connecting them, you can see that it goes in chronological order. All right, so the years are going from low to high. All right, now I want you to have the visuals, use the pictures around you. All right, I'm not going to worry about reading through this right now because you'll see the handout that I'm going to distribute has the exact same quotes for each of these on it. Okay, so you're doing 8, 9, all right, and then you're also going to look at 25, which is what we looked at yesterday. So this timeline in the margins here. All right, so you have 1845 moving all the way down to 1920. Now, this is more of a specific timeline to deal with baseball. All right, and what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to split the class in half, even and odd numbers, okay? So you guys know your your assigned number for your classroom, like how you are on my grade book and all that. So if it's an even number, all right, I'm going to want you guys to do the first timeline of events in African American history, okay? And if you have an odd number, I'm going to ask you to do the one for the one on page 25, the one that's focusing on baseball, all right? So now I'm just going to kind of switch gears and show you guys the handout that I'm sending you, all right? So you'll all have a copy of this, all right? And I'll split it in half, so I'll have one half that's the even numbers, one half that's the odd numbers, okay? So even numbers, all right, you'll be doing the timeline of events in African American history, okay? Go down. All right, and now timeline events in baseball and American history, okay? So that's the odd numbers, okay? So we had even doing African American history, odd doing timeline of events in baseball history. And I'm going to walk you through an example of one for each, okay? So you're going to have, I think it's about 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so you have like 8 to paraphrase, okay, depending on which one you're assigned. All right, now what I mean by paraphrase is this is the idea of, remember, I always say, put it in your own words. This is the definition of that. All right, so I want you guys to put this in your own words. So you're writing less, okay? So honestly, you should write less than what you're actually looking at and interpreting, right? So 1619, people kidnapped from Africa are brought to the Virginia colony. All right, I could paraphrase this saying, kidnapped Africans brought to Virginia. Done. Okay? You're just making it so it makes sense in your head. All right? So now let's look at an example from the baseball. All right? So this is like a whole paragraph. Of course we want to paraphrase this and make it shorter. All right? And again, it helps you remember it. So in 1845, there are several myths about how and when professional baseball reached the continent United States. However, it is now commonly agreed that in 1845, the Knickerbocker Baseball Club of New York adapted the European games of the past into the game we know today as baseball. All right? So, I don't need to know about the myths or anything, all right? You could say, all right, that the Knickerbocker Baseball Club of New York adapted European games into baseball. And that's it. All right? So you see how you boil it down to just one little sentence, okay? And again, your words. This way you remember it, all right? And you also are reducing the amount of work that you need to do, okay? So today, I really do want to focus more on history, especially in our Zoom, because we didn't really get to that yesterday, and I know some people are having access issues, so that's fine. All right, we have all the time today to do that. I figure we'll look at this work tomorrow, just kind of zip through it briefly. We'll go through the timeline as a group, all right, all the way start to finish, okay? That way we're all just kind of on the same page. But I want to focus this afternoon on the history. And if you have this done today, which is, I would just recommend doing it now for the sake of time, all right, just send it to me, okay, and we can go over it tomorrow, okay? I know a few of you are still getting some papers to me. That's all right. I'm going to start chipping away and grading those today, tomorrow, and then that way we can go over them with any edits that you guys need to make, and you'll be done this week, okay? So I'm going to do a quick screen sharing lesson again on the the history work just to show you guys the links and where to go, which one not to do kind of thing, okay? And then we'll go over that today at 4:30. All right, so I'll see you guys later.